Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. It's Josh. Hope you guys had a great holiday weekend out there for Thanksgiving. Even if you don't celebrate Thanksgiving, I hope that weekend was good for you there. Now, Chizuru, we're going to get more details on her. And there's been a lot of stuff going on. We're going to be dropping a lot of videos here. Been busy after the holidays, but we're going to be checking out Chizuru here. And we're going to be detailing what I think y'all should be thinking about when you're looking at pulling characters, because we start getting more and more banners. And well, there's going to be another video that I'll be putting out in a couple of days that'll really put all of this into perspective. My opinion on what you should be pulling for anyway in that video. Right now though, let's check out Chizuru. This is going to be the PV trailer. Let's check this part out. We want to hype our girl up, and we'll see if her outfit stays the same. It looks like it has. It looks like it has. I don't think she's a striker anymore. Thank goodness. That was part of the original leak. Okay, listen, you can't oversell my... Bro, you got like the nine-tailed fox, didn't you know? Hold on, wait. I didn't know that this was a Honkai Impact game. I didn't know we had Raiden Mei in here. Is this collab confirmed, dude? We got Raiden Shogun, Raiden Mei. We got them all up in here. Okay, like listen. Okay, sure, bud. Oh wow. All right, this is a little on the nose, man. Dude, this design with like whatever, like the shirt clothing booba thing, it's a little on the nose, my guy. Like, you can't fool me. I know what you're trying to make us think those are. All right, and listen, you all are wilding out. Now, here's the thing. She used to be in the leaks a psionic character, or a striker character. She's a psionic character now. So if you're thinking about pulling for Chizuru, we need to be really talking about that, because there's no like details on her kit or anything yet. That'll probably be happening tomorrow. But this is a couple of things that I want to get across. CZN, right? You want to filter, you go down to psionic. There is a whopping 2 psionic characters currently in the game. So there's only 2 of them. There's only 2 of them right now. So we don't really have a lot of class mechanics based off of just 2 characters. Like if you want to look at some of the other classes like Ranger or Hunter, right? There's a lot of characters in like the Ranger / Hunter that like to do some sort of generation thing between these 2 classes. Whether it's extra attack focused stuff with like the hunters of a Hugo and Selena, right? Whether it's with Mark or on the hunt from Hugo. Veronica likes to generate ballistas, uses extra attacks there. Then we have hunters using Luke, Renoa, and Lucas with like the bullet mechanics out there. Beryl likes to do her own kind of thing with the retain mechanic. It doesn't really generate anything. She's just kind of hanging out, but she can create an opening shot. There's a little bit of generation there, but not too much there. She's like her own retain thing. But a lot of the classes like to sort of share similar sort of styles of doing damage or styles of supporting or whatever. As far as psionic goes, because there's so few of them, we really only know a little bit about like the psionic class mechanics, right? Both Tressa as well as Kairon really only have one thing in similar, one thing common, right? They do damage, obviously, but the thing they have in common as psionic characters, and what we can see so far, if you're like, what's the dig with psionic characters? They all like to factor in cards having exhaust, right? Whether they create cards with exhaust, we have futility with Kairon, creating cards with exhaust futilities. You can buff them up with Oath of Vanity, etc. Utilizing the ability for you to exhaust cards in some way is really Kairon's shtick. He creates cards that aren't that useful that you can exhaust, but at the end of the day, the game mechanic for psionic, for Kairon, is generating cards with exhaust and then utilizing them in some way. Whereas with Tressa so far, what we've seen in her kit, she doesn't really utilize exhaust in the same way that like Kairon likes to utilize it to buff up his attacks and do more damage. But one of the ways that we utilize Tressa is that she likes to create shadow daggers that have exhaust. She likes to create things that are temporarily there. Same with Kairon. He likes to create things, the futilities, that are temporarily there. With the shadow daggers of Tressa and the futilities of Kairon. Now, also Tressa, you know, with this, I'm not going to say that, oh my gosh, because she has the ability to generate shadow daggers every time you're healed, exhaust cards every time you're healed. It's like a core psionic gameplay mechanic. But she does have several ways to generate shadow daggers in her kit. And as a psionic character, these are really the only two things that they share in common, is the fact that they generate something that has exhaust. So if we go back and we look at someone like Chizuru, who's also going to be a psionic character, a lot of purple here as well, so probably going to be Void. She was Void Striker in her original iteration of her leaks. She's going to be, looks like Void Psionic, but not 100% sure on the element type here because it doesn't specifically say that. But what I could expect from someone like Chizuru being a psionic character is that she is going to be a DPS focused character in some way, shape, or form. I guess she could be a support type character, but she's got the sword, she's got the ultimate form, she's got the giant Oni guy. She's going to be doing damage in some form. The other thing I want to expect here is that she's going to be generating something for us to utilize that also has exhaust. Whether she's going to do damage with it like Tressa does with her shadow daggers, just generating free things that just do damage for you, or if she's going to be a type of a psionic character like Kairon is, that wants to generate these temporarily cards that just sort of take up hand space and don't do anything on their own in their base form, but also have the ability to get payoffs, whether it's going to be with Chizuru's ego skill or another skill like a Echoes of the True Abyss, right? Something that's going to benefit Chizuru from utilizing the exhaust mechanic. That's what I think Psionic's really going to be about. At the end of the day, that really doesn't do a whole lot of telling you about what the character possibly is going to do. But one of the best things that you can do in Chaos Zero Nightmare is play a bunch of stuff for free. You can take advantage of that with characters like Hugo. We've seen that before. But being able to generate cards and utilize them is a very strong mechanic. So that could be a plus for her strength. The other thing, though, when it comes to her being Sonic, that's actually a pretty big deal, is that, well, not only is she going to have her own banner, right, her own raid up banner, she's going to have her own partner. Now, I'm not going to speculate on how strong this partner is, but if you go ahead and take a look at all of the psionic partners in the game, there really isn't that many. You want to know how many psionic partners there are? There's these four. There's Zatera, the 3-star partner, who just kind of is trash, doesn't really do anything super special, right? Then you have Eloise, who just is good, right? Really works with when you exhaust cards, so this could be a good option for Chizuru, or if you gain a status element card, either of these things can give you damage bonuses. And then the EP skill allows you to exhaust a card and weaken an opponent, which is like fine. At the end of the day, though, if you don't have either of these other two 5-star options, Eloise is basically the only psionic card that you can gain access to in the game right now, because the other two options are Bria, who you'd have to pull on the non-rate up partner banner and try to get, which I did sadly, who's an insane card that also works with what psionic characters so far, like we talked about, try to do, which is generating cards. The other thing that you could use is the battle pass card, Antia, who is just going to allow you to, guess what, generate cards and get bonus damage from that as well. So why do I bring this up? Well, maybe you're not interested in Chizuru, but when she is released, she is going to have a partner card, and it's going to be the first time that you're going to be able to have the ability to basically have a slightly easier way, a slightly easier option to get a powerful partner for a psionic character. So if you're a Kairon main, or if you're a Tressa main like me, you didn't get Bria, you're not spending your battle pass on Antia probably for the first time. You're probably getting the controller battle pass partner. So you probably don't have either of the 5-stars. You're not using the 3-star, and you're stuck with Eloise, who is cool, but well, she's basically like the default option for a lot of us right now. And the ego skill on this one is okay if you're trying to like reduce damage by a little bit in something like a chaos run, but at the end of the day, isn't really that strong. So we're going to have the ability to possibly pull on a 5-star partner for Psionic, which might end up being an even bigger deal than Chizuru is herself. Now, there has been a lot of leaks for characters coming out in the near future. And so my personal thing, and we'll talk about it more on that video because we're going to be covering basically all of the characters in that video that we can. The way I'm approaching pulling characters in this game is I'm kind of set right now. As you can see, I haven't really pulled on anything much longer. I've kind of ripped some normal partner banners, etc. But as far as a limited currency goes, out of all the different gacha games I've played, there's always been the thing that rings true, which is pull for your favorites. Meta doesn't matter, which is like kind of a lie, kind of true. But so far in Chaos Zero Nightmare, because some of the supporters that we have at 4-star options are so strong and they can be utilized in a lot of different ways to sort of coherently put any sort of DPS strategy together, you can kind of build a team to maximize your favorite character in CZN. And this is true for every character. You can beat content, smash it with whoever your favorite one is. As long as you pick your favorite one, doesn't matter if they're on the bottom of the tier list or the very tippity top, you can pair them with some of the supporters who are at the tippity top, who allow you to generate extra AP, draw extra cards, do a bunch of different stuff, and put your character paired up with those other two. Which means for me that my pulling strategy, especially when we're going to be looking at these future 30 or so characters, I'm going to be pulling for the ones that I just personally feel like are cool. I don't really care about anything else. I would not chase meta. I wouldn't follow someone this is the best Psionic character in the whole game. Listen, we already have several teams that can pop out 20,000, 30,000, 40, 50, 60, 70,000 damage around in Chaos Zero Nightmare, which is way more than any of the bosses have. So I'm not worried about power creep in this game. I'm going to be pulling for my favorites, and I suggest that you guys do as well. With that being said, God bless out there, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.